Thank you for your love, your constant support, and every generous donation that helps this mission grow. Your presence here means more than words can express. With gratitude and light, many people believe that blood type is just a medical piece of information. But for those who have been spiritually set apart, this detail carries much more than biological compatibility. It carries a mark, a pattern, a sign that there is something different about you that did not come solely from genetics, but from a purpose that predates your birth. The chosen ones are not defined only by behavior or appearance. They carry signs, and blood is one of them. Each blood type carries specific codes, frequencies, spiritual records that may be directly linked to your mission here. When you feel that you do not fit in, that you perceive the world differently, it is not by chance. Your body holds information that most will never access. Your blood does not just indicate who can donate to you. It reveals what has been deposited in you as preparation for something greater. That is why some feel more sensitive, more aware, more connected to the invisible. This is not psychological. It is spiritual. You may have been born with a blood type that links you to ancient lineages, that bring with them gifts, responsibilities, and access to higher levels of perception. It may be that your sensitivity, your intuition, your dreams, or even your discomfort with the world around you come from this. Your blood carries answers. In this video, I will show what each blood type represents spiritually, what it activates, what it connects to, and what it reveals about your mission. If you truly feel that you are not like the others, perhaps your blood has been saying this for a long time. You just didn't know how to interpret it. Follow the channel and turn on the notifications. Here, the content is straightforward, without fluff, for those who want to understand what they truly carry. My name is George, and this channel is for those who prefer to discover what it is, rather than continue living without knowing. Many people treat blood type as a simple medical datum, something useful only in the case of donation or emergency. But if you are someone who feels things more deeply, who perceives the invisible, who lives with the sensation of carrying something they do not understand, perhaps your blood is trying to say much more. Your blood type carries frequencies. Each type has a different vibration. It is not just about antibodies or compatibility. It is about spiritual signature. Some people are born with a blood type that functions as a channel, a code, a kind of antenna that picks up realities that are not in the physical realm. Have you ever entered a place and felt the atmosphere heavy without anyone telling you anything? Have you ever sensed something was going to happen before any sign? Have you ever had dreams that seemed like messages, even if no one around you took them seriously? This may be linked to the spiritual frequency that your blood carries. There are people who are more sensitive not because of their mind, but because of their origin. Some lineages are ancient. They carry records of generations that are no longer here, but left living energetic traces in the bodies of the chosen ones. In this case, blood holds instructions that have not been erased over time. The chosen ones often are born with a specific blood type that allows access to deeper states of perception. They are not superior, but they are marked. They are like wake-up calls in the midst of a crowd that is still asleep. They feel what others ignore. They connect with what many mock. They know they are different, even without knowing why. This difference is unsettling. From an early age, you realize that you do not fit in. You do not feel part of the conversation, the environment, the customs. Sometimes you try to adapt, but you always return inward. You always go back to silence, because it is there that your soul reminds you who you are, even when you have not yet understood. Your blood may attract or repel certain environments. It may activate gifts that have not yet been used. It may carry impressions that explain your discomfort with the world. And all of this is not fantasy. It is code. It is the kind of mark that does not show up in tests, but manifests in experiences. If you have the feeling that you see the world with different eyes, it is because you truly do see. It is not an illusion. It is not drama. It is expanded perception. Your body responds to something that others do not notice. And this does not make you strange. It makes you aware. Your blood was already programmed to feel beyond the material. You were made to function on a different level. And this requires responsibility. What you carry needs to be understood, not ignored. Because when you understand what you have, you start to use it. You start to protect it. You start to filter better what you receive. And over time, you realize that your body is more than biology. The blood type you have may be the same as thousands of other people, but what it activates in you is unique. The way you feel, react, perceive, and connect says more about your mission than any test or evaluation. Blood may be the missing clue for you to understand what you have always felt, but never knew how to name. People with blood type O carry something different in their spirit, a firmness that does not need much to prove itself, a sense of mission that is present even when it has not yet been understood. This blood type tends to mark those who have been called to protect, maintain, and remember what the world has forgotten. This blood holds traces of something older. People with type O are sensitive, but with their feet firmly on the ground. They are connected with nature, the cycles of time, the energy of the seasons, and the spiritual movement of creation. They feel with their whole body when something is out of order, even if no one around perceives it. Those with blood type O tend to carry memories that they have not learned anywhere, sensations that have not been taught, a deep, almost instinctive intuition that they have seen or lived certain realities that history does not recognize, as if within them there were a living memory of very ancient times, civilizations like Atlantis, Lemuria, or others that are only whispered about in forgotten texts seem familiar, not as a legend, but as something real, something that has been lived, something that has been left behind, and now pulses within these individuals like a longing that has no explanation. This connection is not romantic, it is a calling, because those with this blood feel that they are here to keep the bridge between spirituality and truth alive. Even without the spotlight, even without recognition, this person feels they must protect something. Nature, justice, the invisible, the sacred. And they do this in silence. This silence, in fact, accompanies many who have this blood. Not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. People with type O observe long before acting, and when they speak, they carry a presence that makes an impact. They are those who sustain environments even when they are not seen, those who maintain structure even amid chaos. If you have this blood type and have lived a life feeling like the guardian of things that no one understands, perhaps that is exactly it. You protect values, preserve connections, feel the weight of the invisible as a silent mission. Carry a responsibility that has not been given by anyone here, but has been there since you can remember. Blood type O is often present in people who are the foundation of the family, even if they do not have the title. They are those who hold everyone up, even when no one holds them. They are those who know what to do, even when they cannot explain how they know. People who have been positioned to protect the essential. This blood type is linked to a spiritual strength that combines instinct, intuition, and action. And because of this, these individuals often feel exhausted without knowing why. It is as if they are always holding the world in their hands. But it is not by chance. It is because they have been designated to sustain what cannot fall. If you feel this connection with nature, with the sacred, with the invisible, if you carry a sense of mission that no one understands, if you have always had the feeling of being here to keep something standing, even without knowing what, perhaps it is your blood that is reminding you. You have been called to guard what cannot be lost. People with blood type A tend to carry a sensitivity that goes beyond the emotional. They perceive the environment as if they are reading a book. They can identify tensions, feelings, and intentions simply through presence. Many times they cannot explain how they know what they know, but they feel, and they are almost always right, even without proof. This intuition comes from something deeper. It is not a simple perception. It is as if there were an antenna inside them, connected to a source of information that the majority do not access. This source is not physical. It is spiritual, and it operates as a field of consciousness where time, space, and matter do not limit understanding. Blood type A is linked to people who seem to have their body here, but their soul elsewhere, not out of inattention, but out of breadth. They pick up information that comes from outside the immediate environment. They often have dreams that come true, sensations before something happens, or ideas that arise as sudden flashes. This profile generally feels a silent restlessness, as if there were something inside them calling to get out, an impulse to seek answers beyond what is visible, a desire to understand what is really happening behind common things. It is as if they carry questions that were born with them. The empathy of these individuals is extraordinary. They feel the pain of others as if it were their own. They absorb environments easily. They often feel drained without knowing why. This happens because their energetic barriers are open, not as weakness, but as function. They are spiritual receptors. This sensitivity is not a mistake. It is a code. People with blood type A were designed to read frequencies, to perceive subtle changes, to function as spiritual sensors within groups, families, and communities. They are the ones who identify when something is not right, even when everything seems normal on the outside. Therefore, they often feel exhausted. They carry the emotional weight of environments, even without wanting to. They do not know how to disconnect, but over time, they learn that this ability is not a burden. It is a tool. And when used wisely, it becomes protection, guidance, and even healing for others. This blood type is present in those who tend to seek deep explanations for everything. They are silent thinkers, questioners by nature, people who rarely accept a superficial answer, not out of arrogance, but by nature. They feel that there is something greater, something beyond what has been said. And this search never fades away. Many of these chosen ones have a natural connection to spiritual, astral, or metaphysical themes. They are interested in dimensions, energies, connections between mind and matter. It is not out of trend. It is because their body and soul recognize that they have been exposed to this type of reality somewhere in the past. Blood type A may contain ancient spiritual memories, marks of journeys made in other planes, internal travels that have left records in the energetic DNA. And these memories do not come as direct recollections. They come as sensations, dreams, emotional repetitions, or ideas that arise without a clear origin. You may be someone who has always felt that there is something more, that this life is not just work, routine, exhaustion, and an end, that there is a system behind the system, and that somehow you are here to fulfill a function within that. This is not madness. It is part of your spiritual structure. If you have blood type A and feel this silent calling, this attraction to spiritual themes, This desire to understand what many cannot see, then recognize. You are a navigator, a spiritual operator between worlds, someone who is here to guide, interpret, and awaken what has been dormant. People with blood type B carry a unique spiritual pattern. There is something in them that blends intensity with wisdom. Many times, they walk between chaos and peace, as if they know exactly what to do at each extreme. They have an ease in reorganizing what is broken, not just in the external world, but also within people. This blood is linked to the energy of Sirius, a star that carries records of healing, elevated consciousness, and spiritual communication. It is not just poetry. Many with this blood type have a natural affinity for subjects related to the expansion of the mind, the search for meaning, and the power of words. They know how to use their voice as an instrument of clarity. They are naturally restless. Their mind is always working, connecting ideas, questioning everything. They do not accept shallow answers. They do not tolerate ready-made explanations. They investigate cross-reference information and feel when something is not right. And this search for truth makes them uncomfortable in places where lies or manipulation are the norm. Often, these individuals feel out of place, not because they are antisocial, but because they function on a different frequency. They become bored with the superficial. They get irritated by a lack of depth. They are seen as exaggerated by those who cannot see what they have already perceived a long time ago. People with blood type B also have the ability to transmute. They are alchemists. Where others see problems, they see potential. Where there is pain, they access the path of healing. This ability does not come from a course or from reading. It comes from within. It is as if chaos activates in them a natural spiritual intelligence. They attract broken people, messy stories, heavy environments. And it is not punishment, it is mission. Because they are channels of adjustment. They touch what is out of place and over time bring structure, understanding, and direction. Even when they are not recognized, even when they are used and discarded, they remain a point of change. This blood is also linked to spiritual leadership. Not a leadership of pulpit or microphone, but of subtle influence. A presence that makes an impact, a word that confronts, a posture that inspires. They are individuals who change the atmosphere of an environment without needing to make noise. They lead because they carry clarity. And those who have clarity guide even in silence. If you have blood type B, it is likely that you have already lived through many intense internal processes. Deconstructions, new beginnings, internal retreats of the soul. All of this because your path requires full awareness. You cannot be shallow when you carry a calling that touches invisible realities. Your own life is proof of what you came to teach. You cannot stand to see people being manipulated. You feel repulsion when you see lies disguised as spirituality. And even if this distances you from groups or systems, you remain steadfast. Because inside you exists a compass that does not allow you to condone what is distorted. This is part of your identity. Blood type B is strongly connected to the responsibility of opening mental pathways, expanding visions, translating what is spiritual into practical terms. That is why these individuals tend to have accessible language. They know how to explain the complex in simple words, and this becomes a bridge between worlds that rarely meet. You may also notice that your life has been marked by discomforts, people who do not understand you, spaces where you do not fit. But all of this has a reason. You come from another place. Your spiritual origin is not common, and your frequency was not made to conform to what is small. If you feel that your mind never stops, that your spirit is always in search of something greater, that you see what others ignore and transform what is confusing, then the blood that runs through you carries more than cells. It carries direction, and it was given with a clear purpose to guide others back to consciousness. Blood type AB carries a call for unification. It is as if these people have been prepared for times of division. They see where the breakdown is and know how to heal. They know how to reconnect. Even when they do not have ready answers, they have a presence that calms and restructures. Often this profile is confused with indecision, but it is not a lack of opinion. It is depth. A B people see details that others overlook. They understand nuances. They know that things are rarely black and white. That is why they think more, observe more, and when they speak, they touch deeply. Spiritually, they are channelers. They receive information from higher planes. They have clear dreams, lucid visions, thoughts that come as if they are from another place. And unlike other profiles, they know how to translate this into simple words. They do not speak complicatedly. They speak truthfully. They connect the high with the accessible. These people have an ease in transitioning between different beliefs, languages, and cultures. They are spiritual diplomats. They understand that truth can take many forms, and that God speaks many languages. They perceive when a system is too rigid, or when spirituality has turned into control, and this moves them to seek restoration. Those with blood type AB also tend to be reserved, not out of fear, but out of care. They know they carry something rare. They know that not every environment deserves what they bring. That is why they withdraw. They wait for the right moment. And when they position themselves, it is with precision, never in vain. If you have this blood type and feel like a silent observer, but with a thirst for transformation, it is because this is part of your mission. You were marked to reconnect, to bring the pieces together, to remind humanity that balance is not neutrality, it is consciousness. Type AB brings a special responsibility, to maintain the bridge between heaven and earth. While many get lost between extremes, these individuals have been called to remember that unity does not mean uniformity. They know how to respect difference and at the same time unite purpose. They know how to keep the light in dark environments without being swallowed by the shadow. You may have felt misunderstood for a good part of your life, for thinking differently, for feeling more, for not fitting into ready-made models, but there is a reason for this. You came to question labels, to heal divisions, to harmonize what is divided. This is not a burden. It is a gift. If your blood is type AB, know that it carries within you a rare spiritual architecture, and that your presence, even if silent, has the power of healing, alignment, and reconnection. You have been called to maintain the thread of unity, in a time when everything seems to be made to separate. Your blood is not a random detail in your body. It is a mark, a sign, a code. Instead of seeing your blood type merely as a medical datum, start to view it as a spiritual impression. There is more hidden in your biology than most imagine. And those who are chosen feel this, even before they understand. The blood type you carry can explain the sensitivity you have never been able to erase. It may justify why you feel what no one around you feels. It could be the reason you always have the impression of carrying something that no one else carries. There is a calling pulsing within you. People marked with spiritual purposes rarely understand everything at first. They just know that they have something different, a mission, an internal weight, an intuition that insists on not being silenced. Over time, this becomes clearer, and blood is one of the first clues that something greater is in motion. Each blood type brings a gift, a frequency, a responsibility. Those who carry blood type O, for example, tend to protect and support. Those with blood type A receive, interpret, and translate. Type B individuals transform, confront, and heal. Those with blood type AB unify, balance, and maintain the bridge between worlds. You don't need to have all the details, but you need to recognize the signs. And if something here has spoken to you, it was not by chance. The universe has ways of calling those who are ready. And often this begins from within. When the body reacts, when the soul awakens, when words resonate where no one sees. Do not ignore this call. Your blood is speaking. And perhaps it has been shouting for years, waiting for you to accept what you carry. Not for you to think you are different, but for you to understand that you have been separated. And with separation comes purpose. With purpose comes direction. And with direction comes transformation. There is no mission without identity. And there is no identity without knowing your own origin. Start listening to yourself more. Observe your gifts, your reactions, your dreams, your patterns. Your blood may be revealing your role in all of this. And the more you position yourself, the more answers appear. Many who have spiritual gifts carry shame, fear, or doubt because the world has treated them as outsiders. But what seems strange to human eyes is often sacred to spiritual eyes. Your blood may be exactly what confirms that you have never been ordinary, and that you should never try to be. The feeling of being misunderstood, of not fitting in, of perceiving too much, did not come by chance. It accompanies you because you were designed to carry a higher perception. This requires more sensitivity. It requires silence. And it requires courage. But it also connects you to a plane that few can access. You were created with spiritual access embedded in your own body. And this access does not come through merit, but through mission. The question now is, what will you do with this? Will you ignore it and continue adapting to what has nothing to do with you? Or will you accept the call and allow your blood to speak? Comment below. What is your blood type? And have you ever felt that it had some connection with your way of seeing the world, with your mission? Let's share. Those who comment connect, and those who connect awaken.